Patrick Fosek and Samantha Tomasini made national news as the Walmart baby-selling couple. During today's preliminary hearing, we learned that the district attorney is now offering them a plea deal, felony probation with a maximum 1 year in county jail. The charges include child endangerment, possession of drug paraphernalia, and being under the influence of a controlled substance, but the DA has agreed to drop one charge of witness tampering.
People are interested about this case is the allegation that our clients tried to sell their baby, which they did not.
The couple claims that this case is the result of a joke gone wrong.
Mr. Fusek has apparently a very dark sense of humor in which people often find their baby very cute. And he often jokes and says that, well, do you want to buy it? It was really, unfortunately, a joke that was misunderstood. And that's just the sort of sense of humor that Mr. Fusek has, and it's just taken the wrong way.
If the case goes to trial, the couple could face up to 6 years in prison. Their next hearing is in February. Along with the thousands of travelers today, hundreds found themselves here in California trying to find a way back home to the Monterey Bay.
Well, we could have drove from Oregon to Monterey in a shorter amount of time than what it took us to actually get here.
Sarah Clark started off her day expecting to board a flight in Medford, Oregon and arrive in Monterey in less than 3 hours, but found herself completing a trip just over 11 hours long, only to find that her luggage didn't make it home with her.
And my suitcase isn't here.
And she wasn't alone. Thanks to the fog that left SFO grounded for a few hours, many found themselves in similar circumstances.
Mother Nature is something that's unpredictable and nothing that we can control. That's the beauty of Mother Nature.
It's the weather, you can't control it.
But many are still optimistic about flying and say that this experience hasn't turned them down to booking a flight in the near or far future.
Everyone was really nice. They were really helpful in rebooking. So, I mean, it wasn't exactly how I planned my day to be, but as far as rebooking a flight, it was about as good as it could go.
God bless everyone who's working under these circumstances, because I would not want to be one of these people having to work in the airport and deal with, thousands of stressed out people.
But those who did make it home tonight are just grateful that their trip is over.
I'm glad I'm home.
And even have some advice for those who still have a long way to go before making it home.
It would have been really smart if I had called ahead. I just assumed everything would go the way I planned it, so, call ahead.
Reporting in Monterey, Berenice Rosillo.
I'm going to miss Conrado.
They were best friends.
We were family.
Their bond was so close that they considered themselves brothers. Aaron Hansen wasn't prepared for the devastating news he received earlier this week. 19-year-old Conrado Javier Jr., a private first class in the U.S. Army, was killed last Sunday by an IED in Afghanistan.
Probably the worst thing I've ever felt in my entire life is to lose a brother like that, just so quickly.
Melody Brazil, another of Conrado's friends from high school, happened to be with Conrado's family when Army representatives knocked on their door to deliver the news that nobody was prepared for.
Everybody was just torn apart, nobody wanted to believe it, because we were all sure he was coming back.
Janelise Blanco was in denial when she first heard of his sudden death.
I was like, no, he can't be dead because he's Conrado. He was one of our best friends, and it was hard to imagine that he was gone when I just saw him a couple months ago.
They had just seen Conrado when he came home on his first leave 2 months ago. They remember Conrado as a brave leader with a good sense of humor.
He was the cool guy to be around.
Now these friends hold hands, coping with their loss. They say Conrado wouldn't want them to grieve. He would want them to celebrate his life.
I don't know how long it's going to be before I can get over it, or if I ever will, but I'm always going to remember him, always. And I'm always going to talk about him like he's here, because he'll always be here for me. He'll always be my best bro.
Reporting in Salinas, Berenice Rosillo.